lead this hour. We're going to change it up a little bit. Talk football. We never talk football on this show. Why would we talk football now? But we will. The Factory of Sadness. Boy, what a wonderful warehouse that is. Now, we have a lot of the fellas that listen to this show that are working. Maybe you're working right now in a factory. But the Factory of Sadness is a special kind of good. They keep providing food on my plate. Now, if you've not heard the latest from Cleveland, perhaps not, the team going nowhere fast and not playing, by the way, this weekend. The Cleveland Browns, GM Andrew Berry. Who? I don't know. His name's Andrew Berry. He's the GM. He's been there for years, Andrew Berry. And he was asked about a state of the team address, kind of, it's the time you're in a bye week, the team blows. And the GM in Cleveland, Andrew Berry, was noncommittal. Big word, noncommittal. When asked about Deshaun Watson's status with the franchise. So, let me give you the short version. I'm not going to give you the long, extended dance remix. Watson, as you might remember, had the breakfast of champions, if you like being injured, snap, crackle, pop. And so he's out for the rest of the year. He tore his Achilles tendon. Just snapped like a rubber band. So that happened in week 7. So we're now heading into week 10. Now, Barry said, well, Watson recovers. He said that he'll deal with the other stuff at a later moment, meaning whether or not Watson is still in good standing with the Browns. What would you have to do to fall out of standing with the Browns? Anyway, let us discuss the question for the esteemed panel, which you're part of. The Browns general manager being non-committal about the future of Deshaun Watson as QB1 in Northern Ohio. What does that signal to you? What does that signal to you? So I've got Kerrygold, lyrics, and DIY project. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to provide a delicious late-night snack is what we're going to provide. So, this is absolutely a pivot on the creepy quarterback by the Browns. It 100%. The Browns, and we've talked about this a lot. We talk about it way too much behind these microphones at FSR. But the Browns organization from top to bottom, the organization, as some say, has been in lockstep. You know it, and I know it, and the person over there knows it. We all know it. The Browns have spoken with one voice when it comes to Deshaun Watson. They don't want to criticize him. He's a Mr. Softy. He can't handle any criticism. And they're afraid of upsetting the thin-skinned quarterback. And so regularly, much to my dismay, the Browns organization has thrown out verbal bouquets for the quarterback there. And now they're acting like that Kerrygold butter. They are softening their hardline position, it would appear. Now, am I reading too much into this? Well, we'll see as time goes on. Unless Watson plays ball with him, here's the problem, right? Unless Deshaun Watson says, it's so bad here, I don't want to be here, I want out, he would have to give back money. And no one's going to pay him. He's the second worst quarterback in the NFL since he got to Cleveland. The only one worse is Bryce Young in North Carolina. But other than that, Deshaun Watson is at the very bottom. He's in the sewer looking at Bryce Young, and they're staring at each other right now. So even though the Browns are softening their position, if you look at all of this, they're still handcuffed, the Browns and Watson together, because the Browns still owe Watson $46 million guaranteed. Not just next season, but the year after. So that's $82 million. And Watson has cap hits the size of the national debt. And I am a salary cap truther, and there's a will, there's a way. And if the Browns did decide to get rid of Deshaun Watson, we are told they would take dead cap hits of $172 million in 2025 and $99 million in 2026. So for most, that would be unfeasible. You would still field the roster. You just have guys that you got off the internet, or maybe you go down to Home Depot and see if anybody wants to work for the day and play for the Cleveland Browns. But you would field the roster. You put a team out there, it just wouldn't be anybody you've ever heard of. Now, page 2 here. With the election now over, and we'll have the inauguration in January 20th, with President Trump returning to the White House there is trickle down, not economics, but the fallout in the National Football League, specifically with the JETS suck. If you have not heard, if you forgot from the last time Trump was in the White House, he is buddies with Woody Johnson. Well, he's buddy with a lot of the NFL owners, but Woody Johnson in particular. The owner, Woody Johnson there, of the Jets. And it appears, by all accounts, that Woody donated a fair amount of money, which means you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's how politics work. And so he will likely return as the ambassador over in the UK there. And if that happens, Woody's out as owner of the Jets. You cannot maintain day-to-day status. Like, it's so hard to own the Jets every day. My God, how hard is that? Yeah, it doesn't matter who owns the team. They lose 10 games or so every year, minimum. So, anyway, somebody else would have to run the Jets day-to-day. During the last Trump presidency, you had somebody named Christopher Johnson. I guess that's the other Johnson & Johnson. So you have Woody Johnson and Christopher Johnson. There's a lot of Johnsons. And he ran the team. And it is expected he'll take over. So how should the long-suffering Jets fan handle the likely Woody Johnson, at least short-term departure to become an ambassador again across the Atlantic? So all of this is white noise. It's all white noise here. And as a Jets backer, right, if you support the Jets, you've made a poor choice. You likely made that choice as a kid. Maybe you were born into a family of Jets fans. But either way, right, it's like the lyrics of a song. I don't know if this woman did anything other than the song. I only know her from this song. The hit "Numb Like a Bug," right? If you're a Jets fan, you're numb like a bug, is what you are. And it's one of those things. You ever get a little bit tired of life as a Jets fan? You probably do. You probably do, right? Like you're not really happy, but you don't want to die. You're just stuck in that weird spot where the team blows every year and they build you up and then knock you down here, and you're numb like a little bug. And you got to survive. That's how it goes for the Jets. And Woody Johnson, if you were to do a big – I don't do lists, as Terry in England and others know. I don't do lists. But if you did a big board, which is not a list, if you did a big board, Woody Johnson would be a JAO on the big board of owners. Just an owner. He's nothing special. He's not the worst. The Jets are bad, but he's not the worst. And he's not a difference maker. Nothing will change whether Woody Johnson's there or Christopher Johnson or Magic Johnson or whoever your favorite Johnson is. Now, last word. To Germany we go. Whoa, what a way to stick it to the people of Germany this weekend. I wonder if we'll hear from Autobahn Butch. We haven't heard from him in a while in Germany. But as they prepare for NFL football, the Giants taking on the Panthers, Coach Dave Canales, that's the head coach of the Carolina football team, has shot his shot, either that or he's been told to shoot his shot. We have learned that Bryce Young will remain the Carolina starting quarterback. There had been chatter that he would have been benched for Andy Dalton, but no. So are you surprised? Are you surprised that Carolina is going back to Bryce Young? So I'll answer this with the M word, mildly. I am mildly surprised. I don't spend a lot of time focused on the Carolina Panthers, but I have to spend a little bit of time every week to get ready for the TV show because not that we usually highlight their game, but we pick every game, and so Carolina's on the big board here. But I'm only mildly surprised because it's not like Andy Dalton's a bowl of cherries. It's not like Andy Dalton's nice whipped cream and all that. No, Bryce Young has been back for the last 2 weeks. Okay, he's been back for the last 2 weeks. He is not a difference maker. And in fact, even though Carolina did win one of these last couple of games against the Saints, the last two games among all quarterbacks that have played in both games, Bryce Young is the 29th ranked quarterback. Now, what do I know? I just talking to a microphone. I think that blows. So this becomes, for Dave Canales, the coach, it becomes a DIY project. Carolina still attempting to spackle over the imperfections. And this is, you talk about the 2-for-1 daily double. Because on one hand, the first part of the daily double, you've got this situation where you want Young to turn out to be good, right? So you've got that. But then on the other hand, you have the case where if he's not good, can you at least make it seem, give the illusion that he's good so you can sucker some dum-dum in the offseason to trade for him. The Giants, you try to spackle over the imperfections. The Giants, they suck also. So it's suck versus suck in this game. At some point, it becomes a salvage and recovery mission, and feeling that if Bryce Young does play the way he has played here, at some point they'll say, well, we're going to go back to Andy Dalton. Bryce has some kind of injury here. We're not sure exactly what it is because we just made it up, and that's the issue.